such kind words and big things about me, but that's just part of how it works. I was just remembering, these are two young students, brilliant ones, and yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, I told them that why don't you MC? And they were like, sir, tomorrow is the function. I said, so what? But thank you anyways for the kind introduction. And yesterday what we were trying to do the MC script, so there's this word eminent, so I was telling them, you really don't need to use the word eminent against my name. So you can just say educator. They said, sir, I think you earned a little bit of it. So I was very glad that they agreed with, using that word. Now, I often say that the importance of fostering youth is that India has about 65% of the population which is under 35 at this point of time. That's about 850 million people. And at this point, again, this year, India has taken over as the third, or the largest growing economy, back from China. And as per the World Bank Merrill Lynch report, 2028, India will become the third largest economy in the world. So now, when we look at, it's currently the second largest FDI, I'm sure that all of you would know that. If you look at this, the kind of things that these youngsters will have to step into is huge. And that is why I feel that they need to be fostered so that they can take the country forward in the right direction and also not going out of step in their own lives. I've had the good fortune, like they said, of interacting with thousands of youngsters. I don't know if it's been my merit, but that's just where I've been. Perhaps a lot of it could be my karma, a lot of it could be my mission. But I've always believed, like in the Nichiren school of Mahayana Buddhism, that one is the mother of thousand. Therefore, if you take care of one person, that person will take care of perhaps two. And those persons will take care of perhaps four. So it's very important to pay attention to that one single person that you can make a difference in their lives. And often I'm remembered of this, story. It's the starfish story, which I often share with a lot of people I meet. So there was this one time, there were all 1,000 starfishes that got washed ashore. And there was a boy who saw all these starfishes, and the boy immediately rushed and started throwing the starfishes back in the water. And there was an old man who kept walking. And he said, what are you doing? You're throwing all these starfishes back. How do you possibly feel you'll be able to make a difference? So the young boy threw one more starfish in the water, and he said, I just made a difference to that one. So it's not about the thousands, it's about that one person that you can make a difference to their lives. I want to thank Karan for allowing me to open the evening today, and for also allowing me to present the concept and my understanding of what the topic is. Education doesn't mean just realizing of the true inner potential of an individual. Education means transferring of humanity from one generation to another. If one understands that and believes that, you will see that there is no age to learning and there is no age to education. But how can we transfer humanity from one generation to another? In order to transfer humanity, one has to be a human being in the actual sense. And therein comes the importance of reading. Because through reading, you are able to change your thought processes. That is why, all the more, apart from the fact that me and Karan practice Nichiren Buddhism together, and we are dear friends because of that, I also felt it is very important that such a philanthropic effort that he has made to reach out to all people in order to try and have a holistic approach to impact their lives in a positive and fruitful manner. So, I want to welcome all of you. I know there are so many accomplished, brilliant personalities from all over all sectors over here. I want to apologize for the delay, but we all know the Delhi traffic, and 10 minutes can be forever. I also am thankful to be able to address this August gathering. So without further ado, let me start with the concept and what I feel to the best of my ability. The Secret Law of Blessing, that's the name of the book. And I remember me and Karan, I think yesterday evening, day before evening, we were together on our way back from Habitat, and I was asking him that, this is what this means to me, and he was saying, what does it mean to you? And I was sharing with him. And I saw so much compassion in him that he actually told me that, why don't you go ahead and share this? For an author, and a human being, to permit another person to present his interpretation is immense compassion and magnanimity and a huge state of life. So the secret law of blessing, so that's the secret law of blessing. So that's 5 words. And if you'll see, most of the mantras in any philosophy are 5. It's called Panchakshara. So whether you see Om Namah Shivaya, whether you see anything. And 5 also has a very important relevance in us because Panch Skanda. So we as human beings are made up of 5 components. Each of these 5 components, earth, water, air, wind and space, these have all been imbibed from the universe. Our teeth represent, or our bones represent the earth. The digestive fire represents the fire. So all these 5 components are representing in the universe, and the universe is represented in us. So as I understand, represents the uniqueness in perspective that each one of us may have in life. In Buddhism specifically talks about the importance of diversity in life, be it be flowers, be it be fruits, be it be anything, colors. If you were to imagine a life that would be without diversity, if you will see that each person that you will see has a different facial structure, has a different way of walking, this itself is the definitive of the. That means the uniqueness that each of us think in our own lives and in the lives of another. So it's got a unique perspective. I remember in Hatha Yoga, and I was with a very realized spiritual master, a very good friend of mine, and he told me that Hatha Yoga practitioners go through their entire lifetime just trying to perfect one asana. This is the manifestation of the. That the entire lifetime, all the yogi, all the practitioners doing is just trying to perfect this one asana. He is not concerned about anything else. He doesn't care what is going on. Just that one asana. And when he perfects that, he is said to be in one with the universe. So the, according to me, means that unique perspective that each of us carry in our own thoughts, carry in our own lives. And that is what makes the leading alphabet or the leading term of this 5-term mantra. In Japan, thousands of people have changed their destiny and their karma using just one small phrase of Buddhism, which is winter always turns to spring. Just this one phase, and repeating it and remembering it every time they went through any difficulty in life, that winter always turns to spring. Secret. So, secret according to me, and again this is my perspective, I hope that you will read the book and be able to present your own perspective. I'm not sure if you've had the time to go through the book. But secret represents the hidden potential that each of us have in our own lives. Each life has an unlimited inner potential that is there. Each individual has this unlimited inner potential that they have. It's just about realizing that potential. So this is the second thing what I understand is that the secret. And also in Buddhism, it talks about the 3 poisons. So the 3 poisons in one's life, they say, is greed, anger, and foolishness. And foolishness in Buddhism does not mean anything to do with intelligence or foolishness to do with your intellectual capability or anything. Foolishness basically means inability to see your own abilities and truth about what you can achieve in life. That's called foolishness. That means inability to believe in yourself is actually what is known as foolishness in Buddhism. And when we realize our hidden potential, we are able to lead happy and fulfilling lives. Third means law. So we've got a lot of eminent jurists here. If you'll see, and that's what I was talking to Karan day for yesterday, that the entire universe, though it may be complex, is so simple in its manifestation and its constitution. The entire universe is made up of 2 steps, cause and effect. If you'll see anything in nature, anything in the universe, you'll always find that it is considered as a 2-step process, cause and effect. If the sun comes out, it's light. If the rain falls, plants get rejuvenated, cause and effect. At every stage, no matter where you look, you'll find the principle of cause and effect operating in the universe. And like I mentioned earlier, that we are not apart from the universe, because we have all the elements that are there in the universe within us. So the earlier we become friends with the universe, the better off we are actually. But if the 2-step process of cause and effect should happen in the universe, then should it not happen within you? If you have infection, what is the next step which happens? You have fever. If you feel happy, what is the next step that happens? You smile. So you see, at every stage within your body and within your being, also there is a 2-step process of cause and effect. If you want to turn on the fan, you have to reach out and you have to press the button. There's no way the fan's going to start operating by wishful thinking, That I meditated in the night and the fan started moving. That's just a cause. Where is the effect? So law, according to me, is this recognizing the 2-step process of cause and effect, which happens in our surroundings and in our lives, and trying to align ourselves with that cause and effect. I mean, you go to sleep early in the night and you wake up fresh in the morning. Cause and effect. So cause and effect is not some abstract concept that just is away from reality of things. It's part of your life. If you're healthy, if you go to the gym every day, if you walk every day, will you not be healthy, or will you be overweight? If you eat heavy food in the night every night, what will happen? You'll develop bad health. Cause and effect. So the moment one understands this principle, one is able to simplify one's life to just this 2-step process of cause and effect. Off, according to me, refers to the entity. That means us as living beings. So we actually are amalgamation or a mid-path between physical and spiritual realms. So we have a physical realm that is known as the form, that is the body. And we have a spiritual realm that is known as the mind or the nature that we have. And when we say, I am so and so, so that I refers to the harmony and the balance between the physical and the spiritual. If you will also see the alphabet, I in English, So that's two horizontal lines joined by a vertical line. So whichever culture you may go, whichever language you may use, the basic principles remain the same. They'll never change. And that is the universal law that operates despite whichever culture we may from, despite whichever profession we may be from, despite whichever country we may be from. The universal law of cause and effect also always stays with us. And just a small thing before I go to the blessing, which is that, there was another very realized master that I had the good fortune of interacting. People normally would not be able to meet him, and I spent hours with him. And I often used to ask him, and that's how, part of the discussion this came forward, that, you see how when you're a small child, and we've all been small children, how when we are small, we are generally happy all the time. And you'll see youngsters, you'll see kids, they're all the time happy until something makes them unhappy. So they're generally happy all the time unless somebody or something is done so that they're unhappy. And look at what happens when we grow up. We are generally unhappy all the time, and we need something to make us happy during the day. So what has really happened? So what happens is that when we are children, or when there are children, they are free of any experiences of life. It is also known as karma. Trials and tribulations, some bad experiences, all of those things. As we keep growing older, so it's called this mirror, and the mirror starts getting clouded by our life's experiences. And the mirror that was so bright and brilliant when you were small, and you saw yourself every day in it, and you smiled and you laughed and you were happy, as you grow older, there is a dust which gets covered. And so you're unable to see how wonderful and how brilliant you are as a person. So what is happening is, during your day, if somebody says, oh, you're like that, so you actually start believing that person. But when you slowly start wiping that mirror, you start being reminded that you are that brilliant person. And when you reinforce yourself, that morning and evening when you're seeing yourself in the mirror and seeing that brilliant self, it doesn't matter what others feel or say about you. And this is where the source of suffering lies. It doesn't lie what you think, it lies in what you feel others may think about you. The moment you stop thinking like that, you'll start leading a free and unrestrained state of life. So this is actually what off means. And then we come to blessings. Blessings, according to me, represents happiness and fulfillment. Now, I often, it's so strange, I never wanted, I was not the type who would talk about spirituality and look how life turns, and sometimes I have the opportunity of addressing thousands of youngsters at a go, just talking about how they can, realize their inner potential and then fulfill it. So, happiness is of two types, One is absolute and one is relative. Again, I use a lot of principles of Buddhism because that's what I follow. But I've also studied scriptures, I've also studied the Vedas and various other scriptures. So no life comes without any problems. So it's just complete, ludicrous thought to believe that you will have a life without any problems, and that is how your perfect life will be. So no life can be without any problems. But what you can do through the secret law of blessing, whatever that means to you, it may mean a philosophy, it may mean a thought, it may mean a book, it may mean a person, it may mean anything. Through that secret law of blessing, you are able to receive the wisdom and the life force to overcome any of life's problems that you may face. So tell me one thing, if today you were to believe completely that any problem that you face, you'll be able to find a solution to it, would you worry about any problems coming your way? So there'll be no fear, no worry. You say it's fine. So part of happiness is not expecting a life without any problems, but to use the principle of whatever law that you feel you want to align with, to be able to achieve a certain form of wisdom that can operate in your life. And with that would come life force. Now a lot of people ask me, what is the exact definition of life force? Life force, broadly translated, means Pran Shakti. You see, you will see two people facing the same situation. Do you see how differently they react? One person will be completely freaked out and will be in a state of, stress and worry and fear and anxiety about a situation, not knowing how to go forward. And the other person is so calmly analyzing the situation and finding the way forward step by step by step, effortlessly. Where is the difference? The difference is wisdom and the life force. And I'm remembered of one of the Upanishads, and I'm sure a lot of you may have heard that shloka in which he says, Asatama Sadgamaya. So Asatama Sadgamaya, Tamasama Jyotirgamaya, Mrityur Mam Amritangamaya, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So Asatama Sadgaya means from untruth to truth. Whatever may be the truth in your life, it doesn't mean that it has to be a spiritual factor. The truth in your life could be your family. The truth in your life could be your professional life. The truth in your life could be the riches that you hold. It doesn't matter. As long as you understand this is the truth of my life, and this is what I need to stick with. This is called Asatama Sadgamaya. Tamasama Jyotirgamaya. That means from darkness to light. From darkness to light could mean so many things. You see, the beauty of Upanishads is that depending on which era or which age, we are able to interpret it for our happiness and fulfillment. What was being interpreted of the Upanishads a couple of thousand years back and what it is now is completely different. Because now life is different. Everything is different what it was there. So darkness to light could mean illness to good health. It doesn't have to mean that you just achieve a state of parinirvan samadhi and that's all it means. No. It could mean simplistically from illness to good health, from unhappiness to happiness, from loneliness to love, from poverty to riches. So tamasama jyotir gamaya. Mrityur mam amritang gamaya. So if you go by the literal translation, it means from death to immortality. But what I rather believe or I think about this is that it could mean from inaction to action. That means when you make up your mind to do something with your lives, that is called Mrityurmam Amritangamaya. You see, life is finite. I mean, everybody knows that. The only thing that stays beyond our lifespan is what we've done in our lives. Whether we are in the government, whether we are running an enterprise, whether we are in education, whether we are any aspect of life, as long as you make up your mind that I am going to do something that will carry forward, that is called Mrityurmam Amritangamaya. It also means from stagnation to growth. The day you stop growing is the day it's Mrityurmam. You have to grow as a person every day, and that's the process of growth. it's very important for us. So I was talking about happiness and fulfillment. So 2 forms. I'll be another 5 minutes and then I'm gone. 2 minutes, okay. My mother says 2 minutes. It's very difficult to say no to your mother and to your wife. You know, good food, and I want to enjoy while that happens. So, you know, it's very important for happiness and fulfillment. So happiness, we all understand. The only issue is it keeps changing as you keep getting older. One stage it was a toy, the other stage it was friends, the other stage it was marriage, the other stage it was just a lot of growth in profession. So the happiness keeps changing. So it's relative and absolute. While trying to pursue relative happiness, if one is able to also pursue absolute happiness, you find a certain form of balance in life. Balance means you don't get overly attached to things. I mean, you want to be successful, but you're not overly attached to it. So this, I feel, is the best way forward. And fulfillment. Fulfillment is only when you have a purposeful life can you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Those people I've seen who set out in the morning with a certain purpose that I'm going to do this during this day or the next 2 days or the next 3 days, and when they accomplish that, they experience a sense of fulfillment. And this is the last one which I said, blessing is happiness and fulfillment. And when we, apart from ourselves, also start thinking of another person's happiness, that happiness becomes long and sustained. And I'd like to end with a certain words from the Lotus Sutra, which is Sukhmani Buddha's final expounded scriptures from the age of 72 to 80, and in which he says, this is the lifespan chapter, which is considered the lifeline of Buddhism. He says that when living beings witness the end of a kalpa, and all is consumed in a great fire, this, my land, remains safe and tranquil, constantly filled with heavenly and human beings. The halls and pavilions in its gardens and groves are adorned with various kinds of gems. Jeweled trees abound in flowers and fruit, and where living beings enjoy themselves at ease. Thank you for being such a patient and wonderful audience. Thank you very much. Thank you.